The Joy of Creation, a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game from 2017, is the pinnacle of terrifying. Watching my favorite Let's Players play this back in the day was truly an awesome experience. But honestly, I'd never dove into this game to see what lies beneath. And in this video, we're going to be covering the basement and what you can't see off camera. Now, the basement is the fourth level of the game, and within the basement, you must navigate between multiple levels of different challenges. Some of them make you burn animatronic props, while others you must run for your life. But today, we're going to make this entire experience not scary. So let's get started. So the way this works behind the scenes is that each area you go to is actually stored above the others, but not so much stacked. All the areas are kind of floating around in the void, and your character warps between them when they go through specific doors or they enter the bathroom. The bathroom is always on level 6, the very first area you start in and at the bottom of all of this. You'll notice that when you enter and exit the bathroom on different levels throughout this quest, that you'll get a flicker of light that happens when you touch the bathroom door. And this is because as soon as a player touches that door, they are instantly teleported to the bathroom on level 6. The reason this flash occurs is because the lighting for each area is different. So during the instantaneous moment when the player moves, the lighting around you of course changes. So there's not really a whole lot to section 6, which is this bottom level, so we're going to go up to section 5 now. Now section 5 is the area where you must retrieve 4 animatronic props. You must collect the cupcake, the guitar, the top hat, and the hook. And as you progress, there's an endo or a fallen that spawns near the furnace that you're burning these items in. But what's interesting about this whole area is that there is actually another fallen outside of bounds. This animatronic is just floating off in the void, just outside this room. It's kind of creepy just seeing them here hovering in the fog. But this isn't the only thing out of bounds. In fact, there's another room that we can't access unless we die. So normally when you die in section 4, because the player is burning these items, the death cutscene has the player getting burned inside the furnace themselves. And the way the developers pull this off is they actually have a separate room that the player warps to upon their death. In this room, there are 4 of the Fallen that are just watching the player burn alive in the furnace. But this entire scene is inside of a box just outside the main area. This is done so that when the death occurs, the player can just instantaneously warp over here and the cutscene will play out. But there's a lot more to see, so we're going to move on to section 4. Now in section 4, there are 2 keypads that you must enter these codes on. And while you're entering these codes, there is a endo that is hunting you down in the dark. And this animatronic only moves when you're not looking at it. But because of how dark it is normally in this game, you can never see this animatronic actually move. However, as you can tell by the footage, I brightened up this area and we can actually see the animatronic move in real time. So by detaching the camera from the player and aligning it into the dark, and then triggering the move cycle for this animatronic, you can see that they just sort of slide around. It's actually kind of comical, I'm not gonna lie. Now I have the game speed turned down a bit right here because they normally move faster than this. But yeah, they just sort of slide around and they turn very, very sharply. What's also interesting about this area is that beneath the floor, that you normally can't see, there are 2 animatronics stored down there that don't have any legs. I'm not entirely sure why they are here or why they don't have legs, but they are, and they're just kind of chilling down here in the void. Now, probably one of the most terrifying sections of the basement is the chase scene that takes place after section 4. So you enter this very, very dark hallway, and you must keep moving forward to reach this door at the end. However, there is a fallen behind you that is closing in on your position. And man, does our character move super, super slow. I was honestly messing with things and speeding my character up because this takes forever to get down this hallway. But during that, of course, I was messing with things too. So first off, if you go down this hallway backwards, so basically you turn around and you face the door you came in, and you keep walking backwards the entire duration of the tunnel, you will instantly die when the sound effects of the endoskeleton start playing. Now, I think this is because looking at it in this instance causes immediate death. But of course, I want to see what's going on behind me. So I alter the speed of the animatronic to be 1% of its normal speed. This will allow me to take the camera and move it into the hallway so we can see it moving after us. And it's kind of interesting to see. So it's like not actually animated, it just has these hard poses that it strikes as it moves along. It's very jarring, it's very sharp, and there's like no in-betweens for its movement. But at the same time, that's also what makes it super terrifying. It's definitely very, very creepy. Now, after we complete this chase section, there is another room right after this that has multiple animatronics that pursue you in the dark. So of course, at this point, I know how they move, and because the room is brightened, I can also see how they move. Just like the ones down below, they are sliding towards me, ultimately trying to jump scare me. but I wanted to put their pathfinding to the test. So I wanted to see what would happen if they could not find or touch the player. And my method for doing so was to shrink the size of the player and make them hide beneath the desk. So beneath the desk, the collision for the desk is preventing the animatronics from reaching me. So they actually just stop moving. They do not know what to do, and they cannot figure out how to reach the player. I thought this was pretty interesting. But as I was moving through this room as the size of a mouse, I accidentally fell through the floor. And I fell all the way down to the furnace cutscene room that I was talking about earlier. Apparently, the floor extends past the wall, and I was stuck on this little sliver of land in the void. In the room beside me was those 4 animatronics just staring at the furnace, but I couldn't get to them. So I basically just jumped off, and I had to manually restart this area. Going back through it, this time I completed it normally, and once we reached the top of the stairs, at the end of this entire room is wiped clean. It is still the same room it was, but they delete all the assets from it the second we touch that door at the top. And when we come back through, we're now going to enter the final area. So a lot of players may have noticed this, but when you exit the bathroom in this final area, the bathroom door behind you is gone. You basically step out of a wall, and there is no door from where you just came from. And this is kind of funny because the door is actually still there. It's just you can't see it. And I'm not sure how many people have tried this, but if you were to walk up to the wall that you came out of and hit the trigger for the door, you will walk into the wall and warp all the way down to section 6 and that bathroom. Except this time, the bathroom door behind you will be gone. You can actually just look straight out to section 6 even though the collision for the door is still there. Now, the player's ability to still open the door is a mistake. At least I think it is. But the reason why the door is transparent and now lacks a model is because they wanted it to disappear when you go up above. So the door is invisible, but it still functions as a door, so we can take it from section 6 back up top to the final room. I was worried I was going to get stuck, but luckily that is not the case. And now we've reached the end of the basement, and this triggers the cutscene with the computer. Now what's kind of funny is the computer cutscene, and also the cutscene for the newspaper laying in the lawn. They're both on the same map. So just by looking off to the right, we can see the newspaper and the grass sort of bleeding into this computer office setting. It's a bit funny, but I totally get why they did it this way. But of course, that wraps up our basement adventure in the joy of creation. I hope you enjoyed this closer look at a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. Subscribe right now if you did, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers!